He ghosted her without warning. One day he was there, laughing with her, holding her hand, making promises about tomorrow. And then, without a single word, without a goodbye, he was gone. No explanation, no closure, just silence. For years, she carried the weight of that unanswered question. Why? Why did he vanish when everything seemed so perfect? Why did he leave her staring at her phone, waiting for a message that never came? This is the story of how she finally learned the truth, years later, and how that truth changed everything she thought she knew about love, loss, and fate. It began in the summer of her last year in college. Emily was bright, ambitious, and full of dreams. She had always been cautious with her heart, but when she met Daniel, something inside her shifted. He wasn't just charming, he was attentive in ways that made her feel seen. He remembered the little things she said, like how she loved the smell of rain on pavement, or how she always hummed when she was nervous. He noticed, and he cared. Their connection was instant, magnetic, the kind that made her believe in destiny. Friends teased her about how quickly she fell, but she didn't care. For the first time, she felt like she had found someone who truly understood her. They spent long nights talking about everything. Books, music, their fears, their hopes. Daniel would tell her stories about his childhood, about growing up in a small town where everyone knew everyone else. He spoke about wanting to escape, to build a life bigger than the one he had been born into. Emily admired his ambition, his drive, and the way he looked at her like she was part of that dream. She believed him when he said he wanted a future with her. She believed him when he said he loved her. And then, just like that, he was gone. It happened so suddenly. One evening, they had dinner together, laughing over pasta, sharing dessert, and walking back to her apartment hand in hand. He kissed her goodnight, told her he'd call tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. The next day, her phone stayed silent. She sent a message, then another, then another. No reply. She called, but the line rang endlessly. She checked his social media, but his accounts were gone. She asked his friends, but they shrugged, confused. It was as if he had vanished from the face of the earth. No warning, no explanation, just absence. At first, she thought maybe something terrible had happened. Maybe he was hurt, maybe he was in trouble. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and there was no sign of him. Slowly, painfully, she realized the truth. He had ghosted her. He had chosen to disappear without giving her the dignity of closure. The betrayal cut deep. She replayed every moment in her mind, searching for clues, wondering what she had done wrong. Was it something she said? Was it something she didn't do? The questions haunted her, and the silence became unbearable. Years passed. Emily graduated, started her career, built a life for herself. She dated other people, but trust was hard. Every time someone got close, she remembered Daniel's sudden disappearance, and fear crept in. What if it happened again? What if she was left in silence once more? She tried to move on, but the ghost of Daniel lingered. He was the unfinished chapter in her story, the unanswered question that refused to fade. Then, one ordinary afternoon, everything changed. Emily was at a cafe, sipping her coffee, scrolling through her phone when she heard a familiar voice. She froze. It couldn't be. She turned, and there he was, Daniel. Older, slightly worn, but unmistakably him. Her heart raced, her mind spun. After all these years, after all the pain, he was standing just a few feet away. She didn't know whether to scream, cry, or walk out. But before she could decide, he saw her. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time stopped. He approached slowly, cautiously, as if he knew the storm he was about to face. "Emily," he said softly, almost like a plea. She stared at him, speechless. The man who had once promised her forever, the man who had vanished without a word, was now standing in front of her, alive, real, and full of secrets. She wanted answers. She deserved answers. And finally, she was going to get them. They sat down, the air thick with tension. Emily's voice trembled as she asked the question that had haunted her for years. Why? Daniel looked down, his hands shaking, his eyes clouded with regret. He took a deep breath, and then he told her the truth. It wasn't what she expected. It wasn't simple. It wasn't easy. But it was the reason he had disappeared, the reason he had ghosted her without warning. He told her about the night after their dinner, when he received a call that changed everything. His family had been keeping a secret from him, a secret that shattered his world. His father had been arrested, accused of crimes Daniel never knew about. The scandal was explosive, the kind that destroyed reputations and ruined lives. Overnight, Daniel's world collapsed. He felt ashamed, broken, and terrified. He didn't want Emily to be dragged into the chaos, didn't want her to suffer because of his family's mistakes. So he made a choice, a cruel, selfish choice. He cut her out, believing it was the only way to protect her. He thought silence was mercy. He thought disappearing was love. Emily listened, her emotions swirling. Anger, sadness, disbelief. How could he think vanishing was protection? How could he believe that leaving her in the dark was better than telling her the truth? She wanted to scream at him, to tell him how much pain he had caused. But as she looked at him, she saw the weight he carried, the guilt etched into his face. He had suffered too. His silence had been born of fear, not malice, and though it didn't erase the hurt, it explained the mystery that had haunted her for so long. Daniel admitted he had thought about her every day, wondered if she hated him, wondered if she would ever forgive him. He confessed that he had been cowardly, that he should have trusted her, should have let her decide whether to stay or leave. He begged for forgiveness, not expecting it, but hoping. Emily sat in silence, her heart heavy. Forgiveness wasn't simple. The wound was deep. But for the first time, she understood. For the first time, she had closure. The cafe buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt like the world had narrowed to just the two of them. Emily realized that the answer she had sought for years wasn't about him. It was about her. She had survived the silence, endured the pain, and built a life despite the unanswered questions. She had grown stronger, wiser, more resilient. Daniel's explanation didn't erase the past, but it gave her peace. She finally knew why, and knowing was enough. She stood, ready to leave, her heart lighter than it had been in years. Daniel looked at her, his eyes filled with sorrow and hope. She gave him a small, bittersweet smile. "You should have trusted me," she said softly. And with that, she walked away. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of strength. She had her answer. She had her closure, and she no longer needed the ghost of Daniel to haunt her. Years later, when Emily told the story, she didn't speak of heartbreak or betrayal. She spoke of resilience, of learning that sometimes the answers we seek come when we least expect them. She spoke of the power of closure, of the strength it takes to move forward even when the past lingers. And she spoke of how, in the end, the truth set her free. Because sometimes the greatest gift isn't the love we lose, but the wisdom we gain. And that wisdom, that strength, is what carries us into the future, unafraid, unbroken, and ready for whatever comes next.